Let's start our today's discussion with the story of Mr. Ramesh and Mr. Suresh, who have completed their schoolings together and joined a college for graduation. In 3 years' time, they completed their graduation with flying colors. Their journey of friendship continued further as one of the most reputed bank in the country appointed them as officers in their head office. They were really happy since they can be together forever even in their work life. As the time passed, Ramesh started liking the work he used to do, and a year later, he raised himself to a higher position through his committed efforts. Over a period of time, he developed a positive attitude towards his work, his company, and thereby towards his life. The other friend, Mr. Suresh, also liked his work initially, but later his dissatisfaction towards the work, the pay, and towards the bank began to inflate. He was always under stress and started to hate the work he used to do. His performance also started to deteriorate over a period of time. He developed negative attitude towards his work, and this has ultimately forced him to exit from the bank looking for new opportunities. Remember, Ramesh and Suresh both were talented, both had positive outlook towards life, but few years down the line, one developed positive attitude and other quite the reverse. One became more successful in his profession and the other had to quit due to his changed attitude. This means that it is the attitude that decides how happy, how satisfied, how peaceful, and how prosperous we in our life. If this is the true value of attitude, then what exactly attitude is? This is the video you need to watch if you are interested in knowing what an attitude is, what are its elements, what are its features. So I welcome you all to Avi's Academy. Let us have a discussion on attitude, its features and its elements. After listening to the story of Ramesh and Suresh, now let us discuss what is an attitude first. In doing that, first we will be considering the definition given by Jude, Ryan and Park. They say, an attitude can be viewed as an evaluation of various objects that are stored in the memory of a person. In this definition, there are two phrases that are very important. So let us look at that phrase first. They say an evaluation of various objects. This is the first phrase, and the second phrase is memory of a person. So attitude can be viewed as an evaluation of various objects. There will be various objects, you're evaluating that, and these are stored in the memory of a person. So these evaluations are stored in the memory of a person. For example, let us take one object. We will take a snake. We already have an evaluation about snake. Snakes are poisonous. The moment you see a snake, you think snakes are poisonous, so it is always better to stay away from snake. So this is our attitude towards snake. So this is what Jude, Ryan and Park said in their definition. An attitude can be viewed as an evaluation of various objects that are stored in the memory of a person. So about snake, we have an attitude that is already stored. The moment we see a snake, we will stay away from a snake. So with this reason, we can say attitudes are evaluative statements, either favorable or unfavorable, about objects, people or events. To put it in simple words, we can say attitudes are beliefs, feelings and action tendencies of an individual or group of individuals towards objects, ideas and people. So to understand this in a simple way, let us consider an example. For example, let us assume you have seen a tiger. The moment you see a tiger, there is a belief which is framed in your mind, and the belief is tigers are cruel animal. They attack and eat people. And your feeling is you're scared or fearful about the tiger. And your action tendency is the moment you see a tiger, you will run away from the tiger. So this is your belief, feeling and action tendency towards the tiger, and that will frame or that will make your attitude towards a tiger. Let us consider one more example. Think you have seen your favorite teacher. The moment you see your favorite teacher, there is a belief which is developed in your mind. The belief is she is a very good teacher. She makes the concept very simple and she is also friendly. And the moment you see her, there is a feeling which is developed, and that feeling you can see in your face. A curve, an upward curve is formed in your face in the form of smile. Nothing but you will be happy seeing her. And your action tendency is you will immediately go to her and you will greet her and you will try to communicate with him or her. So this is your attitude towards your favorite teacher. Now if we see this definition in the background of the example, two examples I have given. So here we are speaking about beliefs, feelings and action tendencies of an individual or group of individuals towards objects, ideas and people. Here we have considered an object. Object was the tiger. The moment you see a tiger, you know what the belief, feelings and action tendencies you developed. Similarly, you have seen a people, nothing but a person, that is your favorite teacher. Similarly, it could be an idea. For example, if you want to, if you have decided to go to a picnic to a particular place, so that's a picnic is an idea. The moment itself, a belief is formed based on your past experience about the picnic. Similarly, the feeling and similarly the action tendencies. In this way, we can say attitudes are beliefs, feelings and action tendencies of an individual or group of individual, if entire class is going for a picnic, towards objects, ideas and people. So this is what an attitude is. Now let us discuss about the elements of an attitude. Attitudes could be explicit in nature or implicit in nature. An explicit attitude or explicit means they are conscious and chosen attitudes. For example, imagine you and your close friend has gone to a stadium to watch a cricket match with your favorite team car jersey. And there is another person who is a stranger. He is also wearing a similar jersey. Immediately an attitude is framed towards that person, though he is a stranger. You will think since he is supporting the same team, he could be your friend and you will be more comfortable to discuss or to speak to him or her. So this is your explicit attitude, which is conscious and chosen by you. That's the way you react. Similarly, there could be an attitude which is called as implicit. They are unconscious and uncontrolled. Let us consider the same example. You and your close friend have gone to watch a cricket match in a stadium. There is one more person who is a friend of your friend who comes and speaks to your friend. Immediately you felt uncomfortable because that person reminds you another person whom you have met earlier in your life, and your attitude towards that person was not positive, and you feel the same. Even this person is also like the old person whom you have met, and therefore you may try to part away from your friend for a moment. So this could happen. Okay, these are the explicit and implicit elements of an attitude. Explicits are conscious and chosen attitudes, whereas implicits are unconscious and uncontrolled attitude. After discussing about what is an attitude, what are its elements, let's have look at some of the features or some of the characteristics of attitude. Attitudes are largely the internal state of an individual regarding people, objects, and things around him. While explaining explicit attitude, I have given an example of you and your friend going to a cricket stadium to watch a cricket match, and you have seen another stranger who is wearing a team jersey, the same team which you are supporting, and you will feel more comfortable to join him or to discuss with him about the cricket match, etc. This depends on how you developed a predisposition towards a person in the same team jersey. This is actually happening inside our mind, and hence we can say attitude is an internal state of an individual. Next, attitudes are based on value system and beliefs of an individual, and therefore attitudes can be subjective in nature. Take our example of favorite teacher. You have a belief that teacher is good and friendly and she teaches in a simple manner, and hence you have a positive attitude towards the teacher. Some of your classmates or friends may have a negative attitudes towards the same teacher because that depends on their beliefs, their perception. Therefore, we can say attitude is subjective in nature. Attitude is an outcome of interaction of an individual's values to a given situation. Therefore, we can say attitude depends on outcome of values to a given situation. For instance, a vegetarian may not sit next to a non-vegetarian while having food or at the time of dinner or lunch because his or her values may be against the killing and eating of lively animals, whereas the same vegetarian will not have any issue to mingle with a non-vegetarian other time. He may get along well with a non-vegetarian, and his attitude is confined only to one situation, that is when he is having meat. So this is our third feature. I'll move towards our next feature. Attitude is qualitative in nature because it refers to the magnitude or degree of favorableness or desirability towards a particular object. If you are taking your favorite teacher as an object, you will have a positive attitude because that depends on the degree of favorableness that you are attaching towards your teacher. If you are more happy in the presence of that particular teacher, you will always likely to have a positive attitude towards her or him because it's largely decided by the favorableness, which is a qualitative factor. Next feature and the last feature that we are going to discuss today is attitude is a group phenomenon. When I say attitude is a group phenomenon, I do not mean it is caused by a group of individuals. What I really mean here is they are group phenomenon because attitude is the result of multiple factors or variables. For example, as I said earlier, we have a negative attitude towards snakes. We consider snakes as poisonous. The reason could be there are many people, maybe our teachers or our family members or our parents have said that snakes are poisonous, or you have seen in some television or in movies where a snake is biting and the person is becoming dead. So all these factors are influencing your attitude towards the snake, and therefore we can say attitude is a group phenomenon. So these are some of the common features of attitude. In today's discussion, there were two terms which was appearing constantly. I was discussing about the two terms constantly, that is positive and negative attitude. We even heard the same word in the story of the two friends, Ramesh and Suresh. These types of attitudes we will be discussing from our personal perspective and organizational perspective in the next. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you like this video, do consider to subscribe to the channel and press bell icon to get future updates on the videos which I am going to upload. Thank you for watching.